Let's go.
Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah, but if I don't know, if Jude Bellingham actually said, "Oh, F off," as he walked away,
Yeah.
it may just have been that moment of expression. I mean, did you see the aftermath of the Liverpool, not Liverpool, the Everton game last week? Was it Liverpool?
It was against Liverpool.
Yeah, that was
It
last
was.
week, wasn't it? Where
It was, yeah.
all sorts of and I mean, the manager then got sent off, didn't he? As well
Yeah,
as his
got a red
assistant
card, yeah.
manager, I think.
Yeah.
And he was told he will get a 2-game ban from the touchline, and then the FA or the Premier League came back and said actually he won't, because it's not laid down in the rules that if he gets sent off, there's an automatic ban. So apparently he's not being banned at all. And he went out and he did a very exaggerated handshake, didn't he, to Michael Oliver, the ref. Although Oliver said that wasn't why he sent him off. It was more to do with what he said. And I don't know whether they got the lip reader on that one, but he got sent off for what was a very bad-tempered end to the game. I don't know what you thought about that, but what was so wrong was the way, I think it was Everton's Doucouré went to the opposition fans at the end and was really inciting them, because they'd lost. And then, of course, who was the player who came and remonstrated with him? It was Curtis Jones, I think, wasn't it, from Liverpool? And I can understand that. He's seeing this guy absolutely inciting the Liverpool crowd, the Liverpool fans there at Everton. And so he goes and tries to pull him away, and then all hell broke loose between the teams. It just shows the atmosphere in these games is often on a knife edge. Probably a bad expression, but is often just a tinderbox, and the slightest thing will set it off. And so many games at the end potentially could end up in a very bad way. But yeah, I didn't like the way the Everton player went straight to the Liverpool crowd. That is asking for trouble. And if anything, he I don't know, I think he was booked, I can't remember now, but he should be, if there's going to be any punishments, that deserves a stronger punishment than Curtis Jones got, I think. Yeah. But yeah, it's this high competition in high level sport is always possibly going to burst, and we see it with managers' reactions as well as players' reactions. But yeah, it's not good at all. I mean, coming up in a couple of weeks, or the next FA Cup round, going back to Palace, we've got Millwall coming, and that's a potential, rivalry between the two teams. I mean, we don't really play Millwall much because we've not been in the same division for quite a few years. But these things often don't end well between the two. So I expect that the ground will be flooded with policemen, quite rightly, and stewards in an attempt to keep it peaceful. But it is a worry when you sometimes think, in some ways, are we going back to what it was like a few years ago when there was football hooliganism and violence? I mean, that is largely gone, I'm glad to say. And hopefully that will remain the case. But it doesn't help when players try to incite the fans. That doesn't help at all.
Yeah. But should referees be taking offense at what players mutter? So they mutter something under their breath, and should referees really be paying attention to that? I mean, it's been happening for years, hasn't it? It's not just something that's just started.
No. I think it's very good point, and I think refs have often said, when you read something they've said, or if they've ever written a book, or when they've retired, they say, I always thought it was important to be able to talk to the players at their level, and almost, I think one or two said, almost give it back. If someone tells you to F off, you
Saw family and the ladies, Dr. Gladys and Phantom and Rose. We all have a lovely show every weekday, so join us for a lovely show.
Say hello to Phantom, Dr. Glad.
Important to be able to talk to the players at their level, and almost, I think one or two said, almost give it back. If someone tells you to F off, you say, F off yourself. And there are referees who seem to have the respect of players because they can get down and dirty with them. They can talk the language, the lingo. And I think that is a good thing to a point, not where they're verbally exchanging vile comments to each other. No one would advocate that. But yeah, I like the fact that a ref, as you perhaps suggested, can hear somebody, as we said earlier, mutter, "Oh, F off," without actually visibly directing it at the ref. I think a ref is good if he says, this is a high pressure game. There's a lot of tension, a lot of emotions. People are on the edge of spilling it over and this sort of thing. So I think refs are good if they can actually understand that. And I've noticed in recent weeks, when I've watched games I've been to, and also the game last Saturday, Palace against Everton, there were virtually no bookings. There may have been one late on, I think, against an Everton player, but stuff that you would say is a booking, they don't seem to be doing. And I wonder if refs have generally been told, look, cut down on the bookings, let's get the game flowing, which is a good thing. Sometimes you've got to let go the little contacts, because all it does, it makes the game stop and start and so on, and it spoils the flow of the game. So I think it's good that they're not doing so many bookings, but then you get anomalies like one the other day, whereby I think again it was Michael Oliver sent off Lewis Skelly of Arsenal a couple of weeks ago, and there was a lot of fuss about it at the time, and actually the red card was subsequently overturned. Not that helped Arsenal. I think they still won, but it didn't help them. If they had lost, it would have made no difference. And I think Howard Webb, the boss of the referees, was talking about this yesterday or the day before, and he said we would have expected a yellow card, but it went to VAR, and they sent him, I believe, to the side. Oliver, have a look at the screen, and he stuck with his decision, but it was clearly should have been a yellow and not a red card. So these mistakes, I guess, will be made, but that will clearly enrage the manager and players of the side, who then have to cope. They're 10 men in the game. So let's face it, refereeing high pressure games, high level games is the hardest thing. I mean, how many of us could actually do that? And also to suffer the appalling verbal abuse of thousands in the crowd sort of saying things that they say about referees. I mean, you've got to have a pretty tough skin to do that job. And certainly if you go down, come down to the more grassroots levels, to be a referee, even in weekend kids games where you get lots of parents on the sidelines, and when my boy was small, I used to do this as a linesman occasionally and so on. You get a lot of abuse, and you think, if these things are not put right at that level, I used to think, you see some parents, including the mums, not just the dads, their boy Johnny is out playing, and if he so much as gets a minor knock, push, a barge, they go berserk. They start swearing and having to go at the ref, and it seems to be a lot of the aggro, a lot of the violence is stemming from those times. I mean, I got a couple of friends who used to be referees at that level, and they gave up in view of the violence.
Yeah. Right, so this is all we've got time for. Time flies and you're having fun, they say. So join us again for another interesting season and episodes of the talk show and podcast, The Football Referee, where we talk about all things football. I've been Emmy Hikins, and he calls me bruv.
I'm Trevor Gear, and I call him Cuz.
Yeah, and it's a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Singer-Songwriter and the ladies, Dr. Gladys and Phantom and Rose. We all have a lovely show every weekday, so join us for a lovely show.
Say hello to Phantom.